What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Forward Progress presented by Fanduel. It's another Thursday night football breakdown between the Commanders and the Eagles. Jason Cooper here alongside Fabian. So we're going to be breaking down the game for you today. Going to be talking a little bit about props and then go into our favorite SGPs heading into tonight. Right now, the Commanders and Eagles sitting as 3.5-point favorites, juiced towards the Eagles at minus 115. Total in the game at 48.5. Not really much movement here on either side of the ball. The Eagles, on either side of the line. The Eagles have very clean injury report coming into this game. The Commanders have a couple linemen who are questionable. Will be interesting to see as that develops throughout the day. Suma, let's break down this game here. What are your thoughts on the game in general? Just how do you see this matchup playing out tonight?
Yeah, first of all, I guess we both talked about the Eagles in the offseason, but I don't think we ever expected this matchup to be so relevant for the playoff, for the seeding, for the division win. Pretty incredible. Washington have been one of the major surprises. In this game in particular, I think that the Eagles are or might still be a little bit underrated right now. I think they are very good all around football team. Their defense has been progressively getting better. The offense, especially the passing game, had a slump during the game. Jordan Mailata was out. Hurts was had a lot of issues under pressure. They had several games without Dallas Goedert, without AJ Brown. They are all back now. Their starting offensive line is back healthy. Jordan Mailata is back from his hamstring injury. Goedert, AJ Brown. Devonta Smith was limited yesterday with a hamstring, but I think he should be fine. So this is really the first game in a long time where the Eagles offense, who has been really good over recent weeks, is completely healthy. And this will be a major task for the Commanders defense. The Commanders defense has been better compared to the first 3 weeks of the season. But they still lack some talent, especially on the secondary without Marshawn Lattimore, who they traded for. Dan Quinn plays his defense a little bit differently from his past, in the sense that the Commanders are playing a lot of light boxes. According to FTN data, they have let me quickly check it, the fourth lowest box count at 6.23 against runs. Last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, they stacked the box. They played single high, really wanted to key on the run game because they knew, okay, the Steelers want to run the ball. Then they use all their play action off of it, and we forced them to simply beat us deep. And that still somewhat worked out for the Steelers. They could not run the ball well, but Russell was able to hit a few deep throws against single high. But this Eagles team, when you present them light boxes, they will run the heck out of you. And when you stack the box and play single high, there's going to be Devonta Smith and AJ Brown who torch you in one-on-one, especially when your cornerback group, like the Commanders, is not very good. Like I said, no Marshawn Lattimore this week. So pick your poison. Either you stack the box or you play light boxes and you get torched by Saquon Barkley for 5-6 yards and a few breakout ones every now and then. So I have no clue how Dan Quinn approaches this game, but I think no matter how he does it, it will likely be an advantage for the Eagles. I don't think they should have too many issues moving the chains and moving the ball efficiently down the field here. So my question is, can the Commanders hold on? Last week, the Steelers might have showed the blueprint in how to contain Jaden Daniels in the pocket. I think he had 3 runs for 5 yards. Correct me if I'm wrong, something like that. The Steelers really tried to push the pocket, but not let him get out of it and be dangerous on the ground, scrambling the ball. And that really took away one of the major elements that this Commanders offense has. It is very well designed in the passing game, but they need their first read passing game and their run game to work. And then you add all those Jaden Daniels scrambles on top of it, and that made up a top 3 offense over the first 8 or 9 weeks. Now, teams might be starting to figure out something. I still think that this Commanders offense is going to be dangerous deep into the playoffs. However, they might not reach their ceiling from earlier the season going forward because teams might have found something. The Eagles defense has been getting better. Their front four is very good. I think Vic Fangio will likely try something similar to what the Eagles did. Then you got Cooper DeJean, who is having a phenomenal rookie season. He plays exclusively in the slot. I think he will somewhat erase Zach Ertz, who is also not the youngest anymore. It's a very tough matchup for the Commanders in the slot. So it comes down to can they create rushing lanes for Brian Robinson and Jalen Daniels, and can they hit guys like Terry McLaurin a few times down the field? Because the rest of the receiving group, I don't think matches up very well with Kenyon Mitchell, Darius Slay, who should be good to go off his ankle injury, and so on. So I have some concerns about the Commanders in this matchup. I think the advantage goes to Eagles, as the market is also indicating. My number on the game is -3.5. If there's going to be late Commanders money, I might be interested in taking a shot at the Eagles. But right now, I'm just exactly on market with this one. But I think overall, matchup wise, advantage to the Eagles, of course.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and I'm matchup wise leaning towards the Eagles as well. We talked to Sumo, you and I talked about the Eagles, like you mentioned, a little bit in the offseason, and I was mentioning to you that this team could have a fat tail outcome on defense if with so many question marks they have a pretty decent front seven, but their cornerback grouping, right? Like with Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, we didn't know how they were going to look early on. It didn't look too hot, but over these last 5 games, both of them have been playing fantastic. Quinyon Mitchell's making the case. I mean, it's gonna be tough for him to win, but of all cornerbacks to win the best rookie cornerback at least. And Cooper DeJean has been great as well. One thing I want to point out is how good this offense has been since AJ Brown has been back. It's been almost like he is the engine of their offense. So it'll be interesting to see how Dan Quinn, who's very familiar with the Eagles here, when he was a defensive coordinator with the Dallas Cowboys, it'll be interesting to see how he plays AJ Brown, how he plays this defense against the Eagles. Let's dive into our props here, Suma. Anything you're looking for in terms of props for this game? I know you mentioned you don't really have much on the side, so any props you're looking at in particular?
Yes, I like Zach Ertz under 34.5 receiving yards. Zach Ertz, we talked about it. He is, how old is he? 34 years old. He's still, I think, pretty solid for this offense, no doubt about it. But if he has a tough matchup, I don't think he has the athleticism from his old days to be a great matchup weapon. He went over this line, I think, 4 times this season. And this week, today, he's going to be matched up against Cooper DeJean. And I think that matchup will go to the Eagles. So I like Zach Ertz under 34.5 receiving yards.
Zach Ertz under 34.5 right now at -110 over on Fanduel. If you're looking at some other props on Fanduel and you want to play something, I just got a couple here that are look to be the best in market. Right now, Kenneth Gainwell, if you like Kenneth Gainwell for his anytime touchdown, it's +850. And Jeremy McNichols earlier today, I believe it has moved now. Jeremy McNichols was around +950, but he's currently 850 at FanDuel for his anytime touchdown. I actually didn't hate that at +950. +850 is still pretty decent. Still one of the better prices in market, but obviously with Brian Robinson returning from injury here, the Commanders have shown their willingness to use McNichols on the goal line, so there might be an opportunity there with a McNichols anytime touchdown if you're interested in that. And then also, I'm going to take a shot at this one. I'm going to take a shot. AJ Brown over receiving yards, 80.5 at I believe -110 at FanDuel. Suma, Hitman gave me a good nugget 2 weeks ago on the prop show, on our Saturday prop show. He mentioned that AJ Brown absolutely eats first man coverage. Listen, the Commanders are only 15th in the league at man coverage, playing around 20% of the time. But still, he's also a world beater against zone coverage as well. AJ Brown's just been gross, and I really think that he has a great opportunity in this matchup against the Commanders. So I'm going to take AJ Brown's over 80.5 receiving yards. And I'm also going to take a look at Noah Brown. I'm going to take Noah Brown's under 38.5 receiving yards. It really feels like the Pittsburgh Steelers showed how to kind of, I don't want to say contain Jaden Daniels, but put a little bit more pressure on them and slow down this Commanders offense. Noah Brown's, I feel like been riding a hot streak the past couple of weeks. I'm going to take his under 38.5 at 110 here. Before we get into our SGPs, football is in full swing, and there's no better place to get in on the NFL action than Fanduel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can kick off the season with $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Just place any $5 bet, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. You can use your bets on spreads, props, live bets, the to catch a pass market, which we've been having so much fun playing on our live watch longs. If you tuned in Monday, you saw how much fun we had with our little to catch a pass contest between the producers. That was a blast. Over unders and so much more. We absolutely love FanDuel here on Forward Progress. I mentioned the anytime touchdown prices earlier, but if you're looking to play any anytime touchdowns, first touchdowns, last touchdowns, 2+ touchdowns, oftentimes if you were to line shop these, FanDuel is the best in market for a lot of these touchdown scores. So if you like to play touchdown scorer props, make sure you're playing them on FanDuel. Always line shop, but oftentimes FanDuel does have the best price in market. Not only that, their interface is absolutely amazing. Very easy to navigate when placing live bets. So make sure you download FanDuel Sportsbook and just visit FanDuel.com/forward progress to download America's #1 sportsbook. That's FanDuel.com/forward progress. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas and affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC. First online real money wager, only $5 deposit required. Bonus issued as knowledge-drivable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Suma, SGP time. What do you got for us here? Build it up for us.
Okay, I'm going to start with 3 legs. Eagles -9.5 all spread. Then Zach Ertz under 34.5 receiving yards. Then Jaden Daniels under 43.5 rushing yards. And then I tried different things. I went with Saquon Barkley plus 125 rushing yards. And I've got one with Barkley 100 plus rushing yards and AJ Brown 80 plus rushing yards. The latter one pays around 23-1. And the first one, I think, was at 16-1.
All right, I'm going to lock in the Saquon Barkley 125 plus rushing yards. You can get that one at, like you mentioned there, 16-1. But I feel like you gave a good base to build off of with Eagles alt spread, Ertz under 34.5, and Jane Daniels under 43.5. For myself, if you've tuned into our live watch-alongs here, you know some people refer to me as the IC, the inverse correlation king. So that's what I'm going to do here today. I'm going to go and lock in Terry McLaurin. We're going to go under his 4.5 receptions at -108. And we're going to look towards his alt over on receiving yards. We're going to go for 80 plus, and that takes you to 17-1. I think really if the Washington Commanders want to see success, they're going to need some explosive plays from Terry McLaurin. So that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm hoping for. Under 4.5 receptions for Terry McLaurin, 80 plus receiving yards, 17-1. We'll lock that in. And that just about does it for us here today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you made it this far, that means you like our content. So please do us a huge favor. Hit that like button. It goes a long way for us here in the algorithm. And if you're new to the channel and you made it this far, that means you like our content. So make sure you're subscribed here on Forward Progress. Tonight at 8 p.m., we have a live watch along of the Commanders and Eagles game. If you want to come hang out, fire off some bets pregame, fire off some live bets. Make sure you do it here on Forward Progress. You come tune in. We have a lot of fun with these shows. Tons of great guests tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you haven't tuned into those before, what are you doing? Tune in. You're going to have a blast. And if you have, I'll see you there tonight. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys here in the next one.